All right, even Democrats agree John Bolton is in deep. Let's check it out. And welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Happy Friday to you. Trump's former National Security Advisor John Bolton surrendering this morning at a federal courthouse, pleading not guilty to 18 counts related to the improper handling of very serious, in some cases, top secret classified documents. The indictment revealing more serious allegations than Trump ever faced at all. It appears John Bolton illegally kept information on weapons, missile launches, foreign leaders, and a whole lot more. And that information was then hacked by Iran. From the indictment, at some point between when Bolton left government service in September 19 to July 2021, a cyber actor believed to be associated with Iran hacked Bolton's personal email account and gained unauthorized access to the classified and national defense information in that account, which Bolton had previously emailed to his wife and daughter. Evidently, Bolton alerted the government about the hack, which we remember talking about and reporting on, but he did not tell the U.S. government that the account contained national defense information, including classified information that he wasn't supposed to have there that Bolton had placed in that account. Now, the details of all of this are just incredible when you remember how much time John Bolton spent on TV telling Americans that Trump should be in jail for his mishandling of classified information that was kept at Mar-a-Lago.
To read the indictment, which I don't think many people have done. It's really a masterful piece of work, in my view. It is devastating, and it really should be the end of Trump's political career, let alone the beginning of his jail time. Ultimately, I think people will see this behavior by Trump was a serious threat to national security.
Okay. He's eating those words tonight in a big way. There are several instances like that. In fact, it seems that John Bolton couldn't resist any opportunity to jump on TV and lend credibility to the coordinated federal takedown of Donald Trump. He couldn't resist getting on anytime anyone asked. He was ready to go and jump on TV. Bolton was working as hard as he could to legitimize a political hit job against a former president as he ran for a delayed second term, despite the fact that Trump had all the executive power of the presidency on his side in his own case.
I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information. It's very hard to speculate on motive other than that he liked cool things. He saw things that so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them, and not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
So as this was happening, Bolton was taking a really big risk, if you think about it, because as he was saying all of this, he was fully aware that a case against him was building inside the Biden DOJ based on his far worse behavior with classified documents. He knew that there was a case coming against him potentially as he was on TV saying this stuff about Trump, which is the dirtiest part of the whole thing. Bolton likely assumed, perhaps, that as long as he was on TV slamming Donald Trump, Joe Biden's partisan DOJ would never come after him. Bolton was much more valuable talking trash about Trump on CNN as Joe Biden eyed re-election the following year. Remember, this is all like 2023, right? Just imagine the moment on election night 2024 when John Bolton, watching TV, realized that Trump had won in a landslide. That is a panicked moment for the former national security advisor. Trump is a cable news addict, as we all knew. How many of those John Bolton segments had he seen over the course of those couple years? All the while, John Bolton had a lot of dirt under his fingernails, as explained here today on CNN.
John Bolton's conduct, to me, is more serious, certainly, than we saw in the investigations of Hillary Clinton, of Mike Pence, of Joe Biden, and even more serious than the conduct that got Donald Trump indicted. Let me tell you why. First of all, John Bolton didn't just mishandle this information. He didn't just keep it in a box in a garage or even scattered around a resort. He actively disseminated it. We're talking about the highest level security. The indictment talks about information relating to military attack plans, to missile launches, to foreign leaders, to sensitive sources and methods. And third of all, Bolton's team was not exactly forthcoming about this. Bolton was using that account to communicate with these outsiders.
That's the CNN take on this, by the way. However, for the left, the mission statement still reads "Get Trump," and the same people who legitimized 91 felonies against the president as he campaigned for a second term are now claiming that a pretty clear-cut case, even according to CNN's legal analyst, which was opened during the Biden administration, which was heavily investigated during the Biden administration, well, of course, that's just purely political targeting.
When you look at the pattern here, it reminds me of what the head of Stalin's secret police, Lavrenta Beria, said to Stalin: "Show me the man, I'll find you the crime." That's what they're doing with John Bolton here.
There is no way that had Bolton not broken with Donald Trump, he would be facing these charges today. In other words, he's going to have a very strong claim of selective and vindictive prosecution. There's no doubt that revenge is being exacted against him.
The case was built and brought up in the Biden years, and again, just, you could just read the indictment. I mean, the indictment's pretty bad. A much more likely scenario: the DOJ was looking to charge John Bolton years ago, but the Biden White House protected the former Trump national security advisor, again, as he was spending so much time on TV helping the Biden re-election cause. Then when Trump's DOJ arrived in Washington, naturally, that protection ended. All right, Mike Davis is a founder and president of the Article 3 Project, joins us now. Mike, good to see you. Your reaction to the indictment and how bad you think the case looks for Bolton?
This is a very serious indictment against former National Security Advisor John Bolton for espionage. This case is brought by career federal prosecutors in the districts of Maryland. It's by a Democrat grand jury, or largely Democrat grand jury in the District of Maryland outside of D.C. You have career federal prosecutors from the National Security Division signing this indictment. This is not a partisan indictment by Trump loyalists. This is a very serious indictment with 18 counts of taking and mishandling highly classified information, top secret, even beyond top secrets.
Yeah, and a jury pool, again, with the indictment, comes from a jury pool that's very anti-Trump there in the Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area. But Bolton spent a lot of time hammering the president for his handling of classified documents, alleging that the president belonged in jail for keeping those documents, despite the fact that the president had something that none of these other people had, which was executive privilege.
Yeah, and he also had the Presidential Records Act, which allowed the president to have his presidential records in the office of former president, which is what Congress provides. That's why former presidents get federal office space, Secret Service protection, SCIFs, security clearances. Bolton didn't have those things. He allegedly shared this classified information via an unsecure email, maybe with family members. He knew what he was doing was clearly wrong, as evidenced by these quotes from Bolton in this indictment. And I'll tell you this, Rob, if this indictment proves to be true at trial, John Bolton's going to be spending the rest of his life in prison, likely.
Rest of his life in prison. Is that because it's clearly seen that he knew that this information had been taken? He didn't say anything because he didn't want to indict himself, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's 76 years old. You have 18 counts of espionage. I mean, I'd like to see what the sentencing guidelines are. I mean, I would imagine he's at least going to spend 10 years in prison, if not more. So that
really.
So these are serious charges.
That you think 10 years, does that track with what we've seen in the past?
Well, I mean, you have you're knowingly taking classified records here, national defense information, and this isn't just old intel. This is national defense information. And remember, the Iranians targeted and spied on Bolton. So what did the Iranians get out of these classified documents, these highly classified documents that John Bolton allegedly stole here? So this is very damning for Bolton. There's a reason all these career prosecutors from the National Security Division are on this case.
I want to play just some reaction from the other side. Dan Goldman, one of the most partisan of the Democrats. Take a listen to this.
This is a much more thorough investigation, and if the allegations are true, it is a crime. But we are left wondering whether or not he was charged because Donald Trump doesn't like him, because Donald Trump is, and I agree with Ambassador Bolton, trying to squash dissent, trying to squash any form of accountability by going after his enemies, or whether it's a legitimate prosecution.
What's your response to that?
Dan Goldman is such a blowhard. This is the same guy for 4 years of this unprecedented Republican-ending lawfare against Trump. He cheered it on. He was part of these impeachment hoaxes. Bolton got caught red-handed, it appears, and he's going to go to prison.
Yeah, and I tell you, with the way he talked about, President Trump and the handling of those documents for this, I mean, what a development in that world, because he was on TV quite a bit, as we've seen in the monologue, just saying that the president belongs in jail for this and really scolding him for the handling of his documents. To think that he was doing the same thing, that's rich. But something else. Mike Davis, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Show a little bit more from the Bolton indictment here. On or about July 15, 2018, his wife and daughter text Bolton, "Do we get a diary today?" Bolton responds, "Don't think I can do it on this trip." Bolton later added, "Too much going on. I've done much of Friday in London because I don't want to take too many notes and wanted to get it down before I forgot." Days later, Bolton writes, "More stuff coming," sending a 24-page document described what he learned while National Security Advisor. Less than 3 hours later, he sends his wife and daughter a follow-up message saying, "None of which we talk about." In response, one of the two responding with, "Shh." Victor Davis Hanson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, joins us now. It seems like this is a pretty big deal. And obviously, there's a lot of talk of it being political. And certainly, there's no reason why the Trump administration would not come down on Bolton. What do you make of this?
Well, I've been listening to him, and we know what's fascinating is I haven't heard one time that he said, "I categorically did not transmit classified information through email. I categorically deny that I ever did." He hasn't said that. He said everything but that. So he really hasn't denied what he did. And then the second thing, I think you were really right to point out that the more he felt that he could affect the 2020 election, the more he doubled down. And finally, he was almost saying to the nation, Joe Biden owes me, and the more emphatic I can be about Trump's culpability and how he's going to go to jail and his career, the more I get exempt myself from my own behavior. These people will never indict me. And as he said, he thought that Trump's career was over with and he'd be in jail. So the way he was thinking was, I'm going to transmit this freely. I know it's wrong. He hasn't denied it, but I'm so in now with the Biden administration, and I'm going to get on TV and remind the Biden administration how I've served them, and I'm never going to be held accountable because they're in charge. Kamala Harris is going to win. Donald Trump is never going to be in office again. And that's what he felt, and he played wrong. He for a guy who was supposed to be so strategically astute, he bet on the wrong horse every time he did it, and he's gonna have to pay the price.
When Trump turned into a rocket ship there in early 2024 and got so popular, and we could all just feel that coming, and then he got shot in the ear, and then it just seemed like, what could possibly stop this from happening this second term for him? And you wonder, I mean, I imagine him sitting there watching those election results come in on 2024 November. And you wonder do you think he began lobbying for a pardon from the Biden White House before they left?
I think he did, but he's not stupid, and he knows that there was a time when he was considered the Prince of Darkness by the left. Not that they liked him, they found him as a useful tool. And when he was done, when that tool was over with, they dispensed with him. that he was no longer valuable to. The irony was that the Trump administration said that he had been taking classified information, and it was in his memoir, and they went to federal court, the deal, to stop that. And a federal judge said, well, it's too late. The book is out, but I want to warn you, John Bolton, that what you did was not in the interest of the United States, and you're going to expose yourself at a future date to criminal and civil liability. He was warned by a federal judge.
Yeah.
And so it's just a clear cut, did he do it or not? And so far, and I think I've listened to every statement he's made, he's been very careful not to say, I did it.
Yeah.
But there was reasons for it. And he's done, I think he's in trouble. And the problem is the left doesn't like him and never did. They just found him useful. And he did a lot of damage to the United States by doing that. And he's not going to win people over on the conservative side either. He's a person without any friends or allies.
Right. Yeah. He's all alone in this is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And he's 76 years old and he's pleading not guilty, but it sounds like he doesn't have any defense for the actual charges laid out in the indictment.
None.
Victor Davis Hanson, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would make it clear to the president that I am willing.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, coming up here, the devil with a smile, the charming communist playing it real safe, saying all the right things.
I would be the mayor of this entire city, and that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets.
Real heroes.
Real conflict.
Real threats.
Real heart.
Now there's a place America gets its news.
Newsmax. We're real news for real people.
Millions are turning off the old channels
and switching to Newsmax, the fastest growing cable news channel in America.
No agenda,
no spin,
just the facts.
Millions watches, so can you.
Newsmax. We are real news for real people.
In every pour of 4547 Patriot Edition whiskey, you taste more than whiskey. You taste freedom. Crafted to honor the patriots who built this land, protected by the warriors and the first responders who guard it every day. Forged in the makings of history on the road to a greater tomorrow. Now the fastest growing new whiskey in the country. Raise your glass to tradition. Raise it to heroes. Raise it to America. Built by patriots, for patriots.
With Jackpocket, you can order official state lottery tickets anytime, anywhere. And you can see your ticket on the app. Plus, with access to Powerball, Mega Millions, and more, with Jackpocket, your favorite games are right at your fingertips. Download Jackpocket today.
Back in the day, you bet sinners just to get boards. Word. Now I take them to make threes.
Today's NBA stars, everybody does everything.
Ant-Man, SGA, Luka, dudes playing 1 through 5.
Bigs dishing out like family dinner.
Woo! Got me smashing triple doubles. Shaq, basketball, not burgers.
New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. Plus, get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. The crown is yours.
Don't go! I got to. It's time to screen for colon cancer. Also, I'm just going to the porch.
Cologuard is for people 45 plus, at average risk, not high risk.
False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your provider or request Cologuard online.
The best investment we can make is in our health.
With our Aquasana water filter, we know we're drinking cleaner, healthier water.
And that will pay the highest dividends.
Cheers.
Now up to 50% off at aquasana.com.
With riots and violent looting going on all over the country, I don't feel safe leaving the house without this banana. Normally, I would be worried about this creepy guy, but I've got my banana with me. That same car has been sitting outside my house for a while now. Better keep this banana by the door.
Sounds ridiculous, right? Now imagine this banana was capable of incapacitating an attacker from over 60 feet.
At Byrna, we don't sell bananas. Go to Byrna.com to learn more.
But the question is how you'll make them free.
The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion. I would be the mayor of this entire city. And that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets.
What the assemblyman is saying is he doesn't believe in law and order. He believes in defunding the police.
Prosecuting women for prostitution is something that actually leads to less safety.
All right, so just some of the debate last night. Tax the rich, defund the police, free buses, government grocery stores. New York mayoral hopeful Zohran Mamdani is now running away from a lot of the ideas that have made him such a star to the far left flank, which usually decides elections in a city as blue as New York. He has been on his best behavior, certainly was last night, as he continues to lead in the polls with only a few weeks left. He's very careful. He doesn't want to offend anyone. He's going to say anything he has to get that power for 4 years. His best quality is that he's a good actor. He's got the big smile, very disarming personality. The devil comes with a smile. Mamdani still won't condemn the phrase globalize the intifada, though. He won't go that far, which basically means the entire world should gang up and murder all the Jews. When he was younger and was a really bad rapper, he wrote lyrics praising the Holy Land Five, who were convicted of supporting terrorism and donating millions of dollars to Hamas. He responded to that last night.
The distance between that impact and the rationale that some use of saying it, of speaking about the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land, is why I said that I would discourage this language that I do not use. And what I'm looking to do as the first Muslim mayor of this city is to ensure that we bring every New Yorker together. Jewish New Yorkers, Muslim New Yorkers, every single person that calls this city home.
There you go. Ari Ackerman is an entrepreneur and a supporter of Andrew Cuomo in this election, and he joins us now. And
thank you.
It's good to have you here. Obviously, I think I'm a supporter of Andrew Cuomo in this moment because it's anything I think to save us from what's coming with Mamdani.
Right.
Yeah. But let's start with last night. I don't know that we really moved the needle much last night in the debate. Mamdani's a pretty smooth talker, but he's got a lot of liabilities, right? Yeah.
I mean, you talked about globalized intifada.
Yeah.
It's a call to kill Jews.
Yeah.
How can we elect a mayor of New York City, the largest Jewish population in the United States, when that's his platform? Literally, he said 3 times last night that it's a genocide in Israel. That is a complete lie. He called it an occupation. How are Jewish New Yorkers supposed to feel safe and protected when this guy is potentially the mayor of New York City? He said he didn't say he wouldn't go to a Hamas rally in New York City. He didn't say he wouldn't go, which is incredibly dangerous. This is a U.S. labeled terrorist organization. He would go to that rally.
Right. You're behind Cuomo, which is the smartest bet. I mean, we've even seen the president, pushing Eric Adams, get out of the way so that Cuomo can have a chance here. I mean, the president and Andrew Cuomo do not like each other at all. But I think Trump realizes you have to save the city from what's coming. He's from New York. He's a Queens guy.
Yeah, ultimately, Trump has roots here. So I think he wants the city to succeed, to thrive. And when you have a socialist, communist. who potentially is the mayor of New York City with all his incredibly insane ideas that will basically bankrupt the city and have all the big businesses move out of the city, even Trump realizes that this is not the man that should be mayor of New York City.
It's unfortunate that, Curtis Lewa has been on the show. He's a great guy, and I have a lot of respect for somebody that's so, invested in keeping the city safe, a city that at times has become very, very dangerous over the years.
Right.
And he's always been there for the people that are the most vulnerable in the subways and to crime and things like that. But at the end of the day, Curtis Lewa is just not going to be the mayor of this city. There's no numbers that show it's even possible. Right. He won't step aside. At this point now, he's still going to be on the ballot either way. But if he gets out, how close do you think this could be between Cuomo and Mamdani two ways?
It's the only chance that we have to have a Cuomo mayoral victory.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to appeal to, I've met you, Curtis Lewa. You are a friend. I think what you've done with the Guardian Angels in your career is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But please, if you love New York City like you say you do, you need to drop out of this election. Unfortunately, you do not have a chance to win this election. And all Republicans voters have to understand that. If Curtis Lewa, you are not going to drop out, please, I know this is your audience.
Yeah.
The Republican voters in New York City need to understand they cannot, a vote for Curtis Lewa is a vote for Mamdani.
Yeah.
And it's just a fact. The numbers are not with Curtis Lewa. The only person that can beat Mamdani here one-on-one is Andrew Cuomo.
Scary, isn't it? Scary to think we're a few weeks out from what this could mean.
It's really scary. It's really scary. You know, and the ideas, the socialist ideas he has, I mean, free buses, that would be the most dangerous situation because homeless would live on the buses. It wouldn't be safe to be in the buses. Freeze the rent? Are you kidding me? Does he understand the concept of inflation? Does he understand what consumer price index is? I wish somebody would have asked him last night, can you define what a consumer price index means? Because I don't think he understands what that means. Freeze the rent means delay the rent. It just means eventually there'll be costs that need to be incurred and you have to pay for real estate here in Manhattan. How are you going to freeze the rent and realistically keep the cost
Just
down?
like all the people that have the deal, all the people that have the cheap rent right now, we all pay a little bit more so that all of these people that have the subsidized rent can have that. You know, that's the way markets work. He's not old enough or experienced enough to understand that.
Exactly. And listen, he's got style.
Yeah.
He's got style, but unfortunately he doesn't have the substance and he doesn't have the facts behind him. Doesn't, you know,
doesn't have reality.
And he has no experience doing anything, nothing. You know, $115 billion budget, 300,000 plus employees. We can't have him run New York City.
Terrifying. All right, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank
We
you
appreciate
very much.
it. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right, with no fear of elections, China believes it will win this trade war with the president. Do they have a point? Trump's director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, up next.
No.
No.
Uh-uh. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Isn't this great?
Yeah! Yeah. I can do a cartwheel in here.
Oh, hey! Would you like to join us? No. We would love to join you.
At Sono Bello, just one visit, one day. One decision changes everything.
It was instant. I got an amazing flat stomach.
Physically, you can see it. That belly is gone. I feel great. Sono Bello did that for me.
With Sono Bello's advanced micro laser technology, you can permanently remove stubborn fat and sculpt the body you've always wanted, all in just one visit. That's why Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist.
It's like literally hitting an easy button.
I see a snatched waist and some curves that look really good.
I went from a 14 to a 4. It was a one-day solution for me.
There's no more frustration, just permanent results.
They gave me a whole new body, and I am loving it.
Sono Bello has over 50,000 5-star reviews and board-certified surgeons. Call now for your personalized consultation. That's over a $250 value. Free. Easy monthly payment options make your best body more affordable than ever. Call Sono Bello today.
With today's NBA stars, no lead is safe.
Bet on it. Up 20 used to be a lock.
To Steph, Booker, and Brunson, that's fool's gold.
Got a lead against the Joker? Joke's on you.
Hoopers get hot like pop, pop, pop. And your bet just cashed.
That's money.
New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. Plus, get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. The crown is yours.
He's breathing. Okay. Go again.
Nearly 5,000 people die from choking each year. That's frightening. I'm Dr. Ben Carson.
And I'm Arthur Lee. Well, there are ways to help prevent choking. Accidents do happen. That's why I invented the Life Pack.
Anyone can use this device, and it can save a life in seconds.
Just place, push, and pull. It's that simple. Please order one for your home, office, car, anywhere you eat.
Go to lifehack.net or call 877-543-3822.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
I wish I could just watch live sports at home for a great price.
Choose and customize your channel lineup. Or pause and watch for free. Sling lets you do that. Base package required.
All right, the market's volatile this week after China put those massive export restrictions on their rare earth minerals in this fight with the White House. They produce nearly 70% of this, very important in this economy today. Trump retaliating against China, threatening an additional 100% tariff on all Chinese products starting November 1. But Trump has a problem here in this fight in the fact that he is up against a president for life with Xi Jinping. Elections don't really matter to them. They don't have the vulnerability of that. The Wall Street Journal reporting China is betting it can win with a trade war. Beijing thinks it has found America's Achilles heel. President Trump's fixation on the stock market and the U.S. economy can't absorb a prolonged trade conflict with the world's second largest economy. There are vulnerabilities for Xi Jinping, obviously, but here in the United States, an election every 2 years makes it tough. Director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, joins us now to talk more about this. It's good to have you on, Kevin. China thinks that they can wait this out and that they have the ability to win this. What's your response to that?
No, I mean, first of all, there are ongoing conversations. President Xi and President Trump have a very strong positive relationship, and we know that President Xi and President Trump both value that. And I think we're still very hopeful that this will be resolved once again. But we're very disappointed in the Chinese action, and they do not have access to America's Achilles heel. There is no Achilles heel in America with Donald Trump as president, and the retaliatory measures that we can take would be profoundly disruptive to their economy. And I can tell you that if you look at the data, their economy is already really on the ropes. Their deficit to GDP right now is looking like, a South American country. It's up to 14% if you include the state and local debt. And so this is an economy that is really, really suffering because so many exports, they've lost so many exports to the U.S. And by putting the Critical Earth's new licensing system in place, that they basically offended all of their trading partners. The one reason the economy of China isn't in deep depression, or at least recession, is that they've been shipping this stuff to Europe, but they just put the Critical Earth constraint on Europe as well, which makes no sense whatsoever. But this is not a trade dispute that they can win, and it is our hope that they join the community of nations and that in a collegial fashion, we work the deal out together.
Yeah. I hope you can still hear us. Is that Marine One coming in?
Okay, the president,
getting ready?
Yeah, that is Marine One right there, but I just turned up the knob a little.
No,
I hope you
okay.
can hear me too. I'll speak louder.
Yeah, I know. We can hear you fine. I just hope you can hear me. This country, we sit on about 1.9 million metric tons of these rare earth minerals, these reserves that we know about. They're the seventh largest in the world. Other estimates believe it could be double that. We could be one of the biggest in the world that we have underneath our feet. They just found this huge deposit in Wyoming. I wonder if there's any work that's being done from this White House with Lee Zeldin to deregulate in some way, to open our country up to rare earth refining, because that would be the ultimate counter to what China's trying to do right now.
Oh, you're 100% on it. And President Trump has instructed the entire White House team and the rest of the cabinet to go all in on solving this critical Earth problem so that China has no leverage over us in the future. And I can say that Project Warp Speed got us a vaccine in record time, got us tests. Remember, we didn't have tests for COVID. And then we got them right away. Yeah. Got 100,000 ventilators because President Trump just got everybody working together to solve the problem as fast as possible. And that same team, with some new actors who are really talented, is on the case. And so if China thinks that they've got, they found our Achilles heel, they're wrong. We're on the case. Yeah. And what they've done is they've just probably destroyed their future market from all countries because they've used this as leverage to try to harm us economically. And so who's going to want to buy from them 2 years from now?
It's interesting. It's a tough deal, and I mean the president's pointing out things that a lot of administrations have ignored for a long time about China, and that's why this fight is so difficult, because nobody wanted to pick it in the past. I want to just ask you finally before I let you go, the shutdown, government shutdown. Is there any indication of movement? Is this going to move right into November?
You know, our hope is what we've heard throughout the last couple of weeks in our conversations with senators is that moderate senators are anxious about this King's protest, no King's protest. Right. Here in Washington and around the country, and they thought that if they opened the government before it, then they would get a serious backlash from the far left people, like even probably the Antifa people. And the fact that rather than do their constitutional duty, the Democratic senators are shutting down the government, something that Republicans voted not to do 13 times for Joe Biden, because they're afraid of the far left of their party, doesn't really bode well for their electoral future in my mind. Because if you're a person in some state anywhere, you know that your guy who pretends to be moderate is shut down the government because he's afraid of AOC. And like, is that the person you want representing your state? I think this is really, really going to be a terrible backlash for them.
Yeah, you know, there's indications that there's not a lot of support for Hakeem Jeffries. I think they're going to go through the very painful metamorphosis of their party as that far left flank gets more and more powerful. I think that's what's happening to them right now. Kevin, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
we appreciate
remember
it.
the Kafka Metamorphosis book was about a cockroach, just so you know.
That's good, Kevin. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, with rhetoric this outrageous on immigration, where is this country heading?
Go out in your place where you live and get a gun.
It seems like they ought to be held responsible for breaking local and state laws.
As Israel suffers attacks on 7 different fronts, it's her poor and elderly who are barely making it through each day.
The tears are from the pain of the life that she's lived. She's a survivor of Auschwitz. The years that they would just beat her, years that she didn't have food and felt hungry.
She paid a horrible price to come home from Ethiopia. She lost in that journey a 6-year-old son. A couple of weeks later, she lost her family. She is a wonderful woman, and she is very poor.
I pray that we answer these cries, and our answer is love.
With a gift of only $25, you'll deliver a life-saving food box into the hands of an elderly Jew in need.
She's saying people have a heart. There are good people today.
Call, scan, or go online now, and the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews will rush your food box today.
Hallelujah. This is a holy moment. What you're doing is not simply being kind. You are prophetically stepping into the scriptures and being part of their redemption and our own.
When you call right now, your gift will be doubled to help save lives. Call now.
In a world where Israel is under attack, Christians can help fulfill biblical prophecies through practical support and genuine friendship.
For everything you are doing, thank you. It's perfect.
This is what a simple food box does.
You can bring joy, hope, and love to someone praying for your help today. So please, call, scan, or go online now.
As a neurologist, my patients are often concerned with age-related memory decline. I recommend Cunol Brain Health with 2 powerful, high-absorption ingredients clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Cunol, the brand I trust.
My name is Mike Hammond, founder of Cigna Relief. Much of my career has been working in construction, and I love the outdoors and horses. That active lifestyle is what has caused my body to hurt. I didn't want to let this affect my family or my life, and that's what motivated me to create a team to build the Cigna Relief Patch. Clinically shown that over 85% felt relief in just 72 hours, with almost half feeling significant relief in just 15 minutes. It's drug-free, reusable, and it comes with a money-back guarantee. Whether it's your neck, back, knee, shoulder, or just aches and pains, this patch can give you your life back. When I gave my best friend a patch with tears in his eyes, he said it was the first time in 16 years he did not hurt. Join the hundreds of thousands who found relief. I'm asking you to try the Cigna Relief Patch today by going to our website. If you're thinking about buying, it means you need one. You have nothing to lose. I promise the patch works.
Welcome back. The rhetoric that Democrats have used to whip up so much rage against common sense immigration in this country is just disgraceful. Take a listen to an alderman in the city of Chicago.
Largely, I would say right now, the worst gang in Chicago is called ICE, and it's funded by the federal government. We're going to show up in masses this weekend downtown and say that, we don't believe in authoritarianism.
Another white guilt liberal with the brain the size of an acorn. An alderman in the city of Chicago says the worst gang in his city is ICE. Here's a Chicago gang story from his own city. Years ago, the Black Disciples in Chicago recruited an 11-year-old kid, telling him to kill somebody as part of their initiation. That 11-year-old opened fire, missing his target. He killed a 14-year-old standing in a street. This kind of stuff is commonplace in Chicago. Then other members of the gang killed that new 11-year-old recruit, fearing that the young boy would squeal to police. That's a real gang story. The left has gone nuclear, willing to say anything to protect the 20 million potential voters, I should say, they imported these past few years. Their rhetoric has turned their voters militant. A hate-filled hair salon owner from Massachusetts facing up to 10 years in prison for interjecting herself during an ICE arrest, yelling at officers, "Charlie Kirk died and we loved it. We're coming for you, gonna kill you." This little tiny salon owner with a tattoo on her forehead. Illinois' governor treating ICE agents with, threatening them with criminal charges just for doing their job. Take a look.
You said on Sunday that you were looking at prosecuting ICE agents who violate the law.
We're looking at all of the options at the local level with county, states attorneys, with attorneys general. To go after people when they're breaking Illinois law. The question is, can we hold the officers, the agents responsible when they do something like that? So it seems like they ought to be held responsible for breaking local and state laws.
Dr. Michael Savage joins us now. I mean, to say that ICE is the worst gang in Chicago when you work in Chicago and you got to look at 20 or 30 black kids getting shot every weekend, that's quite a statement.
You know, Rob, I look at these politicians. Pritzker's not a stupid guy. Let's start with that. Some of the other people are stupid. He's not stupid. The fact is, you have to ask yourself, why are they defending gangs, illegal aliens who are largely the ones being thrown out, criminals? They're not all gardeners, as they say. Many of them are criminals and in the drug trade. Haven't we all seen enough gangster movies from The Godfather on to realize when they say in a gangster movie, he owns the judges, he owns the politicians, as in The Godfather, that there may be some truth in that when we see guys like this saying things like that? I mean, I would think some of the money may be flowing right up into the political structure. That's the way it looks to me as a fiction writer. But then again, there's no other explanation for this. They're not doing it for the good of humanity. They're not doing it for the good of the people in Chicago. They're not doing it for the good of peace and quiet and justice. They're doing it for financial reasons only. Follow the money. And that's what we have to be looking at with these people saying horrible things like that. But he's not alone. You flashed on the screen. Others you're going to show, I think. Don Lemon's next. Is he my next target?
Yeah, no, I mean, we had that one. We actually threw that out because Don Lemon says something stupid about every day these days. But I think you're right. It's either money or it's the fact that so much capital, political capital, was invested to bring all these people into the country. And the idea of throwing them all out now, you know, and not eventually making them citizens and not turning them into Democrat voters. They can't lose these people, so they have to do everything in their power, even though their constituents don't want it. So they have to figure out a way to vilify common sense immigration policy. I want to get to one more thing with you, just because I wanted to get your perspective on this, and it was from the Supreme Court this week, which is this case that they heard, which was unbelievable. This Louisiana versus Calais, the 6-3 conservative court, looking poised to finally end race-based gerrymandering. That's where states form congressional districts to give a racial majority. Very anti-American. Ketanji Brown Jackson attempts to protect Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. In this, she compares black Americans to the disabled when they are voting. Well, I could not believe that she made this comment, and she really did. Go ahead.
She's perhaps the least literate Supreme Court justice in recent history. There were African-American women who are far more qualified than her for the Supreme Court. Everyone who studies law knows that her arguments are hackneyed and barely readable. A first-year law student of 20 years ago would have done better than this twisted, illogical finding that Americans with the Disability Act apply to people because they're black. I studied this today just for this show, and I said, what is the capacity in the human brain, the theoretical storage capacity of the human brain, because I'm buying new computers, right? 64 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte. Well, the human brain has a theoretical storage capacity of approximately 2.5 million gigabytes, which, Rob, is roughly equivalent to 3 million hours of TV shows if the brain worked like a digital video recorder. I would say this Ketanji Brown is about 300 hours of TV shows in capacity. I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree. It was a really dumb thing to say. And again, the way that what's racist has just flipped around. It used to be that if you thought a minority was less than a white, that you were racist. Now today, if you don't believe they're less than, if you don't want to give special privileges, that makes you racist. It's amazing to me.
If a white representative or justice said the same statement Ketanji Brown said, they would be called a racist and they'd be screaming to throw them off the court.
They'd be done. It'd be done. The only person that could say that was her. Dr. Savage, good to see you. Thanks so much. All right, Trump hosting Zelensky at the White House earlier today after his phone call with Putin. Discussions were had about the status of the Ukraine-Russia war, whether or not the U.S. will provide these Tomahawk long-range missiles, which could hit Moscow from Ukraine. Trump's still trying to pull off this miracle with a very stubborn Putin. Take a listen.
These two leaders do not like each other, and we want to make it comfortable for everybody. I spoke to him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We went through a lot of details. He wants to get it ended. I think that President Zelensky wants to get it ended. Now we have to get it done. I love solving wars. You know why? I like stopping people from being killed. And I've saved millions and millions of lives. And I think we're going to have success with this war.
All right, Trump adding on Truth Social, it's time to stop the killing, make a deal. Enough blood has been shed with property lines being defined by war and guts. They should stop where they are. Let both claim victory. Let history decide. Dick Morris joins us now to talk about this. Is this an endable war? I can't. It just seems like this is going to be a really tough one.
Yeah, I think that the problem is that it will maybe the end of a regime, the end of Putin's regime. Putin has staked everything on winning this war. It reminds me of Lyndon Johnson and Nixon, the height of the Vietnam War, without any way out. And what Trump has done is to make the pressure maximum by secondary sanctions, enlisting India in doing that, cutting off Indian purchases of Russian oil. And he's now going to sell Tomahawk missiles, most likely to the Ukrainians, which are capable of hitting the Kremlin, Moscow. And if Trump, and on top of that, on the battlefield, Ukraine is beginning to win. And if Trump is successful here, we'll end the war. But if not, Putin is perfectly prepared to take this death spiral down to his grave. I mean, this guy is obsessed, and it's hard to see how he could extricate himself from this.
Yeah. How does he get out of this and save face? That's the question. Dick Morris, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
President Trump commuting the sentence of the weirdest Republican congressman in recent history tonight. George Santos just got commuted, posting on Truth Social that Santos was somewhat of a rogue, Trump calls him. But there are many rogues throughout our country that aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. I started to think about George when the subject of Democrat Senator Richard Denang Dick Blumenthal came up again. He then went on to hammer Blumenthal through the rest of the statement, who he calls Denang Dick for lying about his military service while campaigning. We'll see, and who still has a Senate seat, by the way. So there you go, a commutation for George Santos. Not one that we're particularly proud of, but he is commuted. A dim-witted moment up next.
Corporations like Deloitte and 3M pouring chemicals into these places.
I'm William Cross, creator of Neuropoway. I'm a type 1 diabetic and I've suffered from burning, tingling, and numbness in my hands and feet for most of my life. That's why I created Neuropoway, the only clinically proven nerve support product for burning, tingling, and numbness. Try our best-selling topical gel for near instant relief. With a real money-back guarantee, you've got nothing to lose but nerve discomfort. Neuropoway is available at all major retailers, or you can find us at neuropoway.com.
Hi, my name is Damian Clark. And if you have both Medicare and Medicaid, I have some really encouraging news that you'll definitely want to hear. Depending on the plans available in your area, you may be eligible to get extra benefits with the Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. These plans have a $0 monthly plan premium. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get over $1,000 a year. That's $85 a month to help pay for covered over-the-counter items like vitamins, pain relievers, first aid supplies, and more. The Healthy Options Allowance is loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend carries over from each month. Call today to learn about all the items covered. You could have $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions all year long, including select brand name drugs. All plans have $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, which include 2 free cleanings a year, as well as coverage towards fillings. They also have vision coverage, including vision exams and a yearly allowance towards eyewear, such as lenses or contacts, and hearing coverage, which includes routine hearing exams and coverage towards hearing aids. Plus, your doctor, hospital, and pharmacy may already be part of our large Humana networks. So call the number on your screen now to speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. Wouldn't you love benefits like a monthly allowance to help pay for covered over-the-counter items? So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call the number on your screen now and speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. If you're eligible, they can even help enroll you over the phone in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan. And remember, annual enrollment ends on December 7th. So call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
One of these has chlorine, microplastics, and forever chemicals in it. And one is Aquasana filtered. With our Aquasana water filter, every glass is cleaner and healthier. Wait, which one? Visit aquasana.com today.
With riots and violent looting going on all over the country, I don't feel safe leaving the house without this banana. Normally, I would be worried about this creepy guy, but I've got my banana with me. That same car has been sitting outside my house for a while now. Better keep this banana by the door.
Sounds ridiculous, right? Now imagine this banana was capable of incapacitating an attacker from over 60 feet.
At Byrna, we don't sell bananas. Go to Byrna.com to learn more.
Welcome back. Time now for news from the left. AOC's town hall with Bernie a couple nights ago might get her a lawsuit from a massive multinational corporation. Take a listen.
Rivers in rural areas were on fire because of corporations poisoning the people who lived in those areas. Poor middle-class communities getting poisoned and dumped on by corporations like Deloitte and 3M, pouring chemicals into these places. And they want to call it a Democratic priority.
Deloitte is a British accounting and tax consulting company, by the way, in case you're wondering. I don't think they dump too much stuff into rivers in the United States, but you never know. Next up, Caroline Leavitt claiming this week that constituents of the Democrat Party are now mainly Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals, because, let's be honest, that's who Democrats look out for. Hakeem Jeffries, fighting for his political survival, is feigning enraged. Take a look.
You got Caroline Leavitt, who's sick, she's out of control. And I'm not sure whether she's just demented, ignorant, a stone cold liar, or all of the above. But the notion that an official White House spokesperson would say that the Democratic Party consists of terrorists, violent criminals, and undocumented immigrants, this makes no sense.
Kind of makes a little sense when you think about your policies the last couple of years. The White House posting Jeffrey's response edited with a sombrero on top of his head. Next up, another reason to thank the heavens above that Kamala didn't win the election.
They're experiencing what they've coined climate anxiety, which is their fear that because of changing and extreme weather, that the future of their lives is very much at stake. My goddaughter, who's a junior in college right now, was crying to me just 2 days ago, worried about what is the world going to be for me, Auntie, she said, when I want to have kids. Should I even be thinking about having children?
They're still pushing this grift, and they're really brainwashing their kids. If that anxiety she claims is real, that's really twisted what they've done. Next up, the BBC sanctioned by the UK's regulator for communication services for breaching code, failing to disclose that the narrator of a Gaza documentary on the BBC had links to Hamas. The ruling states that they committed a serious breach by failing to disclose that the narrator of the documentary about Gaza was the son of a Hamas official. Talk about fake news from the BBC. And finally, a hilarious moment for Trump earlier after a Fox reporter asked Zelensky what's the biggest difference between Trump and President Biden. He gets somewhat of an answer from Zelensky, and then Trump interjects.
President Trump has a big chance now to finish this war. President Biden now is not the president, so he doesn't have a chance to finish this war.
I would say the biggest difference is one is extremely competent and the other one is grossly incompetent.
All right, coming up here after the break, an amazing moment from the Oval Office. Be right back.
Closed captioning brought to you by Magnalife Knee Pain Relief for pain, stiffness, and inflammation of the knees.
The pain in your knees is real. Here's what real customers have to say about Magnalife Knee Pain Relief Gel. It has worked wonders. I love it.
Available at your local retailer.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Back in the day, you bet sinners just to get boards. Word. Now I take them to make threes.
Today's NBA stars, everybody does everything.
Ant-Man, SGA, Luka, dudes playing 1 through 5.
Bigs dishing out like family dinner.
Woo! Got me smashing triple doubles. Shaq, basketball, not burgers.
New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets. Plus, get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. The crown is yours.
AI company Palantir makes critical decisions for governments around the world. In 2019, Palantir bought $50 million in gold in case of black swan events. Not surprising what followed. In 2020, a pandemic shut down the global economy. And in 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. In 2023, we had a regional banking collapse. And in 2025, could a 1929 market crash be the final straw?
Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 888-528-4290 before it's too late. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer 8 years in a row, home of the no fee for life IRA. Patriot Gold Group is patriots protecting patriots. Call now, 888-528-4290.
I lost 110 pounds. You couldn't tell it all because of my excess skin. Sono Bello changed that in one visit.
Introducing the new Lift EX, the just one visit total body transformation everyone is talking about.
I am super happy with my results.
I decided to give Sono Bello a try. Look at me, I have a silhouette. You can see my waist.
Lift EX is Sono Bello's breakthrough 360-degree body lift alternative. Our body contouring experts sculpt, tighten, and lift your stomach, waist, thighs, and backside, all in just one visit with less downtime.
Sono Bello targeted the areas diet exercise could not do. I found me again.
Sono Bello has over 50,000 five-star reviews, and Lift EX is exclusively available at Sono Bello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist. Book your free, personalized consultation today. Easy monthly plans make your best body more affordable than ever.
This year is my year thanks to Sono Bello.
Call Sono Bello for your free consultation today.
And finally tonight, California Governor Gavin Newsom with maybe the dumbest possible swipe he could take, going after Trump for housing prices, which stats show have reached an all-time high. But the graphic he uses, when you look closer at it, clearly shows that the skyrocket to this point came during the Biden years. And the tweet is stupid for even yet another reason as well. Gavin's state, of course, California has the most expensive home prices in the country. It's not even close. An average price around $763,000. The national average is around $364,000. That, of course, thanks to left-wing environmental groups and regulators all on Gavin's side that Gavin has spent years capitulating to while his constituents struggle to survive in his expensive state. Why would you ever take that shot if you're Gavin Newsom? And before we let you go on this Friday night, one of the most beautiful voices in the world serenading the president in the Oval Office today. Blind Italian opera star Andrea Bocelli singing along to one of his most famous tracks. Finity is next. We'll play it out to this. We'll see you on Monday.